I started a little bit late today, but I thought I would start with something fairly productive. I've been keeping bits and pieces from the gallery where I previously had my first exhibition, and all of the work has now been taken down and brought back. I had some of the bits and pieces left from there in another room, so I put those back into my room. This is prints and artist statements and things like that. And I also was given a couple of boards from the frame makers near me, and it's a really nice shop, a lovely couple there, and they were kind enough to give me bits of wood to paint on because I said that I love painting on wood. Also pieces of cardboard, clean rectangles of cardboard because I draw on cardboard a lot, but I think I'm going to use one as a backing board for my pastel paintings. But what I'm doing here is picking the tape off these wooden boards because they're taped together, and the one which is face down, though they're both kind of face down, the one which I can't flip around has a name and a telephone number on it, and so that's why I'm making sure the board on the bottom that's facing downwards, or the face that is downwards, is where that information is. So if you can see me awkwardly manoeuvring around that, that's the reason why. But yeah, and then having this piece of cardboard to use for my pastel paintings will be really handy. Oh, one more thing about the boards, it does have drill holes in it. I'm wondering how to sort those out. Maybe, because initially I just thought I'll just paint over it until the paint dries and globs over it, and then you can just sand it down and paint over that. And I don't know, maybe it'll be better to fill it with something, maybe just paper, or I don't know, I really don't know, but I need to give that some thought. Anyway, onto the cardboard. The cardboard underneath is just a thin piece of cardboard, but it could be good enough. It's not actually. You know what? Just thinking about it now made me picture what I'm thinking of. It's not going to be good enough. I was initially thinking of having that piece of cardboard behind a pastel painting on a piece of brown paper to hold it into a frame, and it's not going to be enough. I'm going to have to do better than that. The reason why I started so late this morning, was because I'd had a late night last night. I was watching cartoons, and it was because I was uploading yesterday's video. God, I'm so confused. And it took until a really late hour to get done. Today is a repeat of yesterday weather-wise. You can see it's just chucking it down outside, and there's going to be no decent vlog material that I can gather whilst the weather is consistently cold and windy and raining. But I have got other jobs to do. Now, this palette here, which I have in this plastic tub, was from over a month ago when I was doing paintings for the exhibition that I just mentioned a moment ago. The exhibition's finished, all the stuff's come back, it's in storage, and this palette has lasted. It's unbelievable. I mean, I was going to just dip my finger in, but when I saw that it was still shiny and it didn't look flat, I couldn't believe it. So I thought, I'm actually going to get a paintbrush and dip the paintbrush into each colour, going from light to dark so that I don't ruin all the colours. And I was shocked. I was very impressed that all the colours had stayed fresh. Now, what I do after using them is I get a bit of water and I flick droplets of water on top of the remaining paint. So maybe that's what preserved it. But I had a painting to do today, so this is what I'm doing now, is I'm setting up a board. This is one which I've been talking about for the last few videos, or certainly in certain videos recently in the last week or so. I've mentioned it several times that a cattle market not too far away from me showed interest in one of my paintings, which I'd started at the market plein air. It didn't go incredibly well, so I'm pushing to get the painting done from scratch, and I took lots of photo reference. So that's what I'm doing here today. I thought I need to get a start on it soon. Yesterday showed that I had an easel in my room that is not normally here. So I set it all up, got painting, and it's just boxing off certain shapes of the composition first. I didn't get more than this done. It was just a quick half hour or so of just getting down the basics, but that's what had to be done. So that's what you're seeing here. Later in the afternoon, the weather did brighten up quite a bit, and it's always worth trying to take a few photographs if you can when you have this type of a sky. And I just love it. It's gorgeous. I mean, it reminds me of old Renaissance paintings where it would be, you know, really rich dark clouds and then a golden edge just to breaking through and showing that quality and contrast between the colours. It's lovely, and it's something which I may use in the future for a painting if I need a sky, because that's the type of thing I like to have as a library of images if I need it. Yesterday I mentioned that I had this idea of what I was going to draw today, and it was going to be black ink on white paper. That wasn't the case. I went and got a yogurt from the fridge, and invariably, if I end this package of yogurts, then I will use the cardboard for a drawing. And because I'm doing a daily drawing, I just couldn't resist using it. Now, I use these all the time. If you're used to this channel, you're used to seeing these cardboard sleeves being drawn on by me, and I just couldn't resist it. It's one of those familiar surfaces that I like to use. So that's what I did, and it wasn't the idea that I had in my head either. I mean, it started off with a kind of similar idea. Initially, I thought maybe this could be the sketch that I do again later on white paper, but because I didn't finish it in one session, I took 2 sessions on this drawing. I thought I'm just going to make this the daily drawing because I'm making harder work for myself than I often need to. So this is what you're seeing, is me working out how to make a doodle after having a yogurt into the daily drawing. So it's not quite what I promised yesterday. I was promising for a better, more entertaining video and a much better, completely different drawing, and it is completely different. Concept wise, it's somewhere in the realms of what I wanted to do, which is partly biological or partly kind of butchers, you know, slabs of meat and bits of offal, and I don't know, just something a bit more moving towards the mutation area that I like to draw in. And at some point this month there will be a mutation drawing, because that's something which I like to try to encompass. But also, I mean, I've been thinking of several things that I haven't done yet for this Inktober this year, and there are lots of options, but mutation is one of them. So mutations drawings will be included. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about here, then just have a look through my channel. You'll see mutation drawings all over the place. It started off with one which I made from a prompt by Peter Draws, and I had his blessing to make a video kind of about how to draw like him. I've interviewed Peter twice. I've only published one of those interviews, so the second one will be getting published at some point, because it was quite a while ago that I spoke to him. And it was him and Scott Teplin at the same time. It was a great conversation, but it was part of a series that I never had the opportunity to develop into the concept that I initially had. So I don't know, that might go somewhere at some point. That's kind of the background of where my mutation drawings started, and this is not a million miles away from that. I've done one drawing of offal before, and it was considering that imagery for the exhibition that I mentioned a couple of times already in this video. It didn't get featured in that exhibition, but that's just the nature of making work for galleries, really. You make more than you need, and only certain pieces get included. And what did happen was I saw a relation between the drawing of it was cow's intestines, I think it was a cow's stomach, a relation between that and the mutation drawings that I'd been doing, and also the inclusion of the silage wrap that's used to wrap bales of hay. That can go into my mutation drawings quite comfortably, so there is an overlap there somewhere. So I'm yet to really explore that thoroughly, but at the moment I'm just making sure that I keep dabbling with certain aspects of the agricultural studies that I started with last year, which ended up being the exhibition that I keep mentioning. It's called Movement in the Fields. That was the exhibition. So this drawing, I suppose, is just a result of that type of thought process.